Well, thank you so much, Rachel, for jumping on today. I thought we might just start with a brief introduction about your name, your business, and what services you guys deliver.
Thanks, Jonathan. So I'm Rachel Lefaine. My business is Contemporary Coordination, and we provide support coordination and psychosocial recovery coaching services. We were really interested in Astalty, and what tipped us over the edge to join up was the way that we can track the budgets and the available funding for us with the extreme headache that the new funding periods have brought us. And that was our main reason for making the big jump.
Yeah, the funding periods have created a lot of additional admin for a lot of people. So that's awesome. And yeah, I imagine you guys were kind of looking around at multiple different pieces of software. What did that kind of look like? And then what made you want to like have a look at Astalty and trial it?
So we've been using Splows since we began, about 5 years, and we were just finding the functions weren't keeping up with what we needed. Actually, Astalty was the only one we went back to because we looked at all the reviews and everyone was saying Astalty, Astalty. And when I reviewed it again, it did not fail to disappoint with all the features that we needed. It ticked all of our boxes.
Nice. And did you guys do a trial first, or did you jump into a demonstration, or what were the early kind of like, how did you get a bit of a feel?
So 3 of my team members actually did trials without me knowing and came forward and said, look, we really think this would be a great software for our team. So they did the trials, they loved it, and I thought, this is them, they're doing this every day. So then I sat down with you, Jonathan, I said, let's do this. I gave you a time frame and you respected my very quick time frame for coming over, if you remember. But it was really a team that drove the change.
Yeah. From memory, you guys were like probably like the quickest to come on board out of anyone that we've dealt with. I think when you said that, I was like, that's right. I think the time frame for getting on board was like a couple of weeks or something. So
I think I said, can we do next Friday?
Yeah.
And we did. We transitioned over that weekend with a lot of effort from your end and our end. And we were ready to go by that following Monday to train everyone and just get on with it.
That's a record. That's amazing. Yeah, what was that onboarding experience? You would have worked with the customer success team, the onboarding, the migration team. What was that like?
We loved working with your team. Everyone was so responsive and so good at explaining exactly what was needed from us. Once we worked out how to extract all the information that we needed from Splows, which was the biggest challenge, and getting it into a format that Astalty liked, which your team did for us, it ended up being quite a straightforward process. And it was really great because you were able to find a way to import all of our case notes straight into your system using the same format you use. So that was a big highlight for us because we could simply keep searching the historic notes that we had done previously in Splows. And the whole process was pretty smooth. You may remember that I very quickly wanted one change around the way that the names were written, so we can continue to provide to document legal names versus chosen names, particularly with our trans and non-binary participants, and the way that your team just wanted to understand why do you need this? What's important to you? Is this workable? Just jumped in and did that and made that happen for us within a few days, which everyone on the team was just so appreciative of.
Yeah, awesome. So you guys did the onboarding process, you guys did some training, and I guess, I mean, that's amazing just hearing that stuff around what the team was able to do and build that. And I guess that's what we always try and do. We always try to understand what's the business case, what's the problem, what are we trying to do here? And if it makes sense, we'll do it. So that's awesome. And then what has been the process? What's it been like since you came on board in terms of the day-to-day, in terms of getting support? Have you guys had to reach out to support or need anything? And how's that been?
Yeah, so the team has felt really empowered by your team in that they themselves are feeling comfortable to actually reach out using the function that you have, and are all really happy and getting a quick response and then telling me the update rather than reporting it to me having to contact. So they're feeling really empowered by that process. I know my bookkeepers required a bit of extra support to understand how we can support particularly our contractors with their billing and how they can best find the numbers to be putting on their invoices and such. So, and I know that she's felt quite supported by the transition as well. Yep. Most of the team did the onboarding training modules that you suggested. Some of them jumped right in and found it really user-friendly, and then went back and did the little trainings that they couldn't work out themselves, but some people were able to just jump right in and just found it really user-friendly.
Yeah, awesome. And I guess what impact has it had on the business since you guys have come across? What are some of the biggest things that you've noticed?
The things I love most are, from my perspective as the director, is the increased compliance. So for me, through the records function, it's really easy and quick for me to see what documents are coming up for needing to be reviewed, or if there's any documents missing, telling us when service agreements, are going to need to be reviewed, all of those things, alerting us when stuff is due. Is incredible and a huge step up from what we had. We actually had a whole database that would do that for us. So we migrated 4 systems into one when we started with Astalty, and one of them was the notifications of when documentation is due. So I love that feature from a manager perspective. Really love the budget utilization tool. That's fantastic just for anyone to see at a quick glance if there's anyone overspending or running out of funding. Or I really love the check-in function from a safeguarding perspective, because as a manager, I can very quickly look at who's not being contacted in whatever period of time, and can just make sure, reaching out to that coordinator, hey, how's John going? Do we need to, contact him? Is everything okay? And a bit of a prompt for them to be noticing that themselves as well, now that they're learning how to do that. So they're probably my favorite ones as a manager.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, they're good features. I love the check-in feature. It's probably one of the first features that we launched that started to get a little bit of notoriety, and I feel like it's a forgotten feature at the moment. So I definitely need to I think I need to talk about that feature a little bit more. So awesome. And I guess for anyone who's looking at changing software, any advice for them if they're looking at changing software this year?
Well, what I did is I wrote a list of what I needed and what wasn't working with the current systems that we had, and what would make my life easier. And when I check that against Astalty, I was able to tick all of those boxes and more, which is good. I think trial it, just have a look and see if it's going to meet you and your team's needs.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Rachel, and appreciate the feedback.
You're very welcome. Thanks.